It's special to be back in the building tonight and to have so much of my family here and friends and former teammates, and it's just crazy that, forever, as long as they'll play games with the Atlanta Falcons, my name's going to be up there. And so I'm really proud of that and, honored to be chosen for the Falcons Ring of Honor. So it's a great night, and I'm really excited to be here.
Did you have a moment of deja vu or nostalgia when you walked in the building?
Yes, a little bit different coming in the way we came in tonight, riding down with my family and just not having the same level of stress that I felt like I had coming into this building for so many years. But it's always strange coming back when you've done it for so long in the same place. You have your routines, your different stuff, and I was able to go in and see some of the equipment guys, some of the trainers, some of the players, and get back into the locker room. And it's amazing how it feels, when you get in there. You feel like you're getting ready to play too. So there's a little bit of deja vu, but I'm happy to be where I'm at.
Hey, Matt, does this feel weird at all? I mean, because it's not like you're that. Usually these things happen when you're fairly far removed from playing, at least, a few years. And in theory, you could have played last year and kicked it around. Is that strange at all in some ways with this?
I mean, it's because it's still fairly fresh, of just having played a couple of seasons ago. But I almost think it's kind of extra special too, because it is so fresh, and for them to make the decision that they felt it was the right time and, appropriate to do it now, that meant a lot to me. And so I would say, less strange or anything like that, but more of just, I'm really honored.
So how is your experience here with the Falcons, the good and the bad, shaped you as a player and as a person?
Yeah, I think, obviously there were struggles, and I think I became a better player as a result of those struggles. And I think we all do as athletes. And I think it teaches you, to be resilient within your life and to be able to handle different things that get thrown your way. And I think that is one of the great parts. And then I think on the other side, the highs, right? There's going to be times in your life that you're going through some really great things, and kind of keeping that level-headed perspective, I think, was something that was important to me as a player, but, also important to me as I've grown, and I'm a father and a husband and those kind of things. And I think it's, children will test your patience, with the best of them. And Cal's right back there making some noise now, which is great. But I think it does, it helps shape kind of how you view things and how you react to things.
You mentioned, Matt, that it was nice to not come in here with any stress, but what are the challenges that you've faced over the last year and a half not being in uniform?
Well, I miss playing. I think all of us, and I see John Abraham sitting here as well, I think we all miss certain parts of it. There's nothing like being out on that field for 3 hours on Sunday or Thursday or Monday, whatever it may be, and being able to compete, with your teammates. And so that part of it is hard because, for my entire life, it's what I did, and it's all I ever wanted to do. And so, moving on from that isn't always the easiest, but I've been lucky and fortunate to last year call games for CBS, which I really enjoyed doing. And then this year, working with the NFL Today up in New York has been great. So I'm around it. I get to watch as much film as I ever had as a player, and I get to talk about it, which is great. But I think there's a certain part of all of us as competitors and players that you're always going to miss. And so, that's part of it. You can't play forever, and you have to keep moving on.
Okay, so my question might be a little bit similar now, but what's one thing that you really miss about playing and one thing that you really love about being on the other side now?
I mean, to me, there's nothing like having the ball in your hands in the fourth quarter, and you've got 2 minutes to go, whatever that time frame or scenario is, and you've got to go down, you got to get a field goal, or you got to score a touchdown, and just being out there. And I loved, it was just 11 of us out there, right? And we'd work so hard on that area of the game, and that is what I probably miss the most, of having it all on your shoulders and loving that, and loving being in that moment. I guess the other part, being on the other side of it, I don't wake up Monday mornings, or Tuesday mornings feeling like I used to, which that part of it is really good. But being around teammates, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that I've enjoyed, albeit smaller and different from being in the locker room every day. Being able to sit next to Coach Cower every Sunday and watch football and talk to him, or J.J. Watt or Nate Burleson. Those guys have been incredible. And so I've really enjoyed that part of it.
Matt, I know that it's hard for you to look back over 10 years in the same uniform, and there's so many memories that come from playing here in Atlanta, but give us just a few that you're really fond of, that you think about when you walk in this building and you think about when you played here.
I think, one of the cool things for me is that my time in Atlanta was bookended by touchdowns, right? So my first pass as a Falcon was a touchdown to Mike Jenkins, and then my last pass as a touchdown, I think, was to Russell Gage, who swiped Kyle Pitts' route as we broke the huddle. They kind of screwed up in the spots, and Russ was like, no, I'll go there. And he kind of stole that touchdown at the end. So those are two that come to mind. But, I think back to, like, the comeback wins my rookie year, beating Chicago, like the first time hitting Mike Jenkins on the sideline, and Jason Elam going out there and knocking it through the pipes. Like, that was one that I'll always remember. The NFC Championship to close out the Georgia Dome. There's really, been no other experience like that in my career, and to see that place and the environment, that afternoon, and just to know that it was going to be the last game played in that stadium. That's one that for me is probably at the top of the list.
Hey, Matt, can I ask you to put on your TV analyst cap for a second?
All right, let's go.
Can you give me a four-game review of what you see in this Falcons offense, and do you think that maybe they were looking for a little bit of a veteran Matt Ryan type guy when they signed Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I think what you've seen from them is a little bit of inconsistency, at least from my perspective, on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think it's all that surprising, because I do think when you have a first-time play caller in Zach and Kirk coming in as, a new, a veteran guy, but to a new situation, to new players around him, I think it takes time. And so from an offensive perspective, I feel like they're trending in the right direction, and that's what you want to see, right? Mike Smith taught me early on in my career, you want to stay relevant until Thanksgiving, and then you want to start to play your best football as you're moving forward. And I think they've done a great job, whether it be special teams or defensive, of keeping themselves relevant, getting to 2-2, finding a way tonight to try and get to 3-2. You're sitting right on top of the division, and I really expect it to be an offense that gets in better sync as the year goes on.
Matt, you were talking about former players before, and obviously the transition to TV. How long do you think it took you to get used to not playing? Because players often will say it can be that's maybe the biggest challenge, is the not part of that.
Yeah, I think I think the hardest part for me was getting out of the routine of playing, right? In April we're going back to OTAs, we're going back to off-season workouts. Like the structure of your life when you're playing is so regimented, and the year has such a rhythm to it, and it's the exact same, as you're going through it. I think that, to me, really was probably the most challenging part, is, you really don't have to be anywhere. And that was, in a lot of ways, a little bit overwhelming. But I think as far as my first season not playing, being in the booth, calling games, I think that really helped me, because there's so many things going on when you're preparing to call a game, and you're just you're seeing these guys go out there and kick off, but you also understand that you have a responsibility and a job to go do yourself. And I think that was really helpful for me. I think the first 4 or 5 weeks, it was really challenging because you're in the stadium, you're feeling like you should be out there going to play, but then the light comes on and you're on the air for 3 hours. And I think I got better with that as the season went on.
Matt, how do you describe or view your legacy while you experience the ceremonies here tonight?
Yeah, I think I'm number one, I'm proud of everything, that I did during my time in the NFL and specifically here in Atlanta. I probably am most proud of the consistency. I think week in and week out, I showed up and played. And I think, I'm proud of the toughness, that was displayed. There were not many games that were missed. And there were a lot of times where it wasn't comfortable. And that's one of the things I always felt it from being drafted 3rd overall to, the 3 contracts that I signed here. There was a great responsibility that came with that. And I took it very seriously to be out there week in and week out. It was important to me that the organization knew that, but it was important to me that my teammates knew it and they could count on me. And I think for the most part, throughout my career, the other 52 guys in the locker room could count on me. And that's something that I'm very proud of.
Hey, Matt, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
There's a handful of us in this room who remember when you arrived here. Have you allowed yourself to think about the fact that when you arrived here, you were also what the team needed, but you were also what this city needed? And on a night like tonight, the city's going to show you love. Have you had a chance to reflect on being what both the team and the city needed?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I feel like it's always hard to put yourself into that space of saying, well, maybe the organization did need this or the city needed it. But what I always viewed my responsibility as, number one, as a player, was to be the best I could, for this organization and for this team. And then the longer I was here, the more I realized I needed to be that for the city as well. The best example of what I could be to help improve everything, and so it took a little bit of time for the latter of getting kind of roots settled here. But I feel like I hope my legacy, moving forward, is not just the player, right? It's also the impact made on the city, and we're committed to doing that through what we're doing with ATL. And for me, I hope that 30, 40 years from now, that legacy is much stronger than my own as a player. And so I do feel that responsibility now.
Got time for a few more.
Hey, Matt. You started as a rookie at a time when, almost nobody did that. And now it seems like rookie quarterbacks start every single year. What do you think it takes to have success at the quarterback position at a young age?
Well, I think it takes having good players around you, and I was so fortunate when I got to Atlanta to have, a really good football team surrounding me. I think back to having a running back like Michael Turner as a rookie that you can turn around and hand the football off to 25, 30 times a game. Makes your job a lot easier. A really good offensive line that was tough, right? And they played so well together. That was huge for me. Having Roddy White on the outside, Mike Jenkins on the outside, and then Tony G coming in my second year. I think all of those pieces around me, took the weight of maybe some of the expectations that are with you when you get drafted early and you're thrust into it right away. It took a lot of that weight off my plate, which was really helpful. And then, having leaders like John Abraham or Lawyer Malloy or Keith Brooking on the defensive side of the ball, guys that were veterans and, through time, kind of brought me under their wing and showed me the way. And I think it's a combination of all of those things. Getting into a really good environment, I think is incredibly helpful. And then having the guts to go out there and do it, individually, not being scared of the moment or of the situation. And I think for me, it was a combination of those two things. I had no stage fright, and I wasn't scared to go out there and try and deliver the best performance I could, good or bad, keep moving forward. And I think that was helpful. in conjunction with, you know, some really good players around me.
All right, we got time for one last one.
Well, I guess this is a good one to end it on. You were here for a decade, right? This is your home. Atlanta rallied around you, highs and lows. If you could give kind of like a farewell letter, or if you had anything to say to fans directly or the city of Atlanta, what would that be?
Thank you. You know, thank you for welcoming me, you know, for embracing me for 14 seasons. I loved every minute of it. There's nothing I ever wanted to do other than, you know, be a professional athlete and be a quarterback in the NFL. And I had the opportunity to do it here for 14 years, which was incredible. And I've said it before, you know, you have no control over where you start. And I was so lucky that it was in this organization, in this city, because it really has changed my life and my family's life. And we're so thankful for that. So just a big thank you to everyone.
All right, that's all.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good to see you.